Hey, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Billy, Gym City Welding, here to update you on the 6-month review of the JEGS Cut 40 Plasma Cutter. Total disclosure, this is not a sponsorship. I am not sponsored by JEGS or anything to do with JEGS brand. This is simply just a guy in his garage using a product and hoping to help somebody out at home who may be looking at the same product or something comparable to it. So, if you watch the channel, you've seen me use this machine quite a bit. I've affectionately named this machine the little machine that could, because I have put it through its paces. I've doing this frame that you guys have watched me do on the videos over the past 6 months, 7 months, is this thing has been a workhorse. It's been really nice. Considerably better than what I was used to with cutoff wheels, but for a guy that's doing this stuff at home, a hobby, guy at home, even doing some light fabrication on chassis building and stuff like that, I can't think of a better machine. The current pricing today for this machine is $299, so it has gone up a little bit since I purchased it last summer, which was $289, so we're talking 10 bucks. But ultimately, $299, and it's been an amazing piece of machinery. So let's go over some of the quick little details about this machine and talk about what it comes with and what it doesn't come with, and then its parameters as far as what it can cut, duty cycle, amperage, that sort of thing. So first things first, how do you power this machine? This machine has the ability to do 120 volt, or an adapter for a 240 volt outlet. Again, total so leads are about, let's call that about 8 foot long, so it's a pretty good amount for a plug-in. Total disclosure, I have not used this on the 240 setting yet, simply because I don't have 240 here at home, but I can tell you on the 110, it's worked great. It's been really nice, and it's cut and done everything I've needed to do on this chassis thus far. So that's how the power supply, or that's how you would supply power to the machine. Just a standard 120 volt outlet, preferably 30 amp. If you have an outlet that is a dedicated power source in your garage, that has a 30 amp circuit, that would be the best thing for the 120 volt, because this machine can do a 60% duty cycle on a 30 amp breaker. And so that's allowed me to do everything I've needed to do. The machine also comes with its own ground, as you can see here. Pretty self-explanatory. Again, it leads on this is 6 to 7 feet, maybe 8 feet at the most, but it's been great for here in the shop. So yeah, you got your ground, and then this little guy here. So this is the actual cutting portion for the machine. It's about 8 to 10 feet long. It's been great. The thing about this machine that a lot of people online, before I purchased this, I did a little bit of research. The one thing that a lot of folks were complaining about was the button is on the back side. So you're pushing down with your thumb. Versus a trigger pull style like some other brands may offer, like an Eastwood or even a Harbor Freight. This hasn't really bothered me too much. I mean, if you're doing a really long cut, can this part of your hand, become fatigued a little bit? Yeah, but it's not so bad that you can't do it. The only thing I've noticed is that, like, if I wear a pair of gloves when using this machine, which I highly recommend you do, you tend to lose where that button is, because your gloves are thick and the button's so small. But other than that, it's a great torch for what it is, for the budget, conscious buyer who's buying this. It's been great. My understanding is you can actually switch this out to like an Eastwood brand or a Harbor Freight brand, but I have not tried that. So total disclosure, if you try that, do your research, find out, make sure for sure that it's going to work. The other big selling point of this machine, which kind of helped me gravitate towards making that purchase, is cheap consumables. The machine comes with like 2 cutting tips and a couple of these white ceramic shield pieces that go on the outside, and I think it comes like with a little small chipping hammer and a little handheld shield. But other than that, the consumables are cheap. So what I've done is I've actually gone on eBay and purchased a 100-piece consumable kit, which comes with a tip, this ceramic cup, and the little cutting, forgive me, the name escapes me at this moment, but it's the little cutting piece that goes inside this tip. A 100-piece kit was $24.99, I think, shipped to my door. So, and comparison, that's pretty cheap for consumables. And 100 pieces, of course that depends on how often you use it, because that's the whole point of a consumable, you use them. But just an example of that is I picked up a small little case from Harbor Freight just to throw my consumables in. So this has worked out really well. Shout out to Furic and Rano's D&H Hydraulics. If you guys have ever heard of Rano's or follow him on Instagram, or Furic, he makes TIG cups and TIG accessories for TIG welding. But yeah, shameless little plugs there, guys. But anyways, $6 for a case, holds all the consumables I could ever need or use. It's been a great machine. The dials are really simple to use. You got a power on and off, and then you've got your amperage setting that goes from 20 all the way to 40 amps. And then you got your air valve, which is a simple click and push unit to adjust the air pressure. This machine only requires 5 to 7 PSI to actually run this machine. But in comparison to like what guys may ask, what size air compressor would I need? You need to have something that can put out at least 50 to 60, maybe even 70 PSI. That way this thing has constant pressure on it, even though this might only use the 5 to 7 PSI for the actual cutting portion. Because you want to have a constant air pressure on this machine. And I'm just going off assumption here, but I would bet that most are like that. What does this machine not come with? That is a big question. So this machine actually does not come with a air regulator, the dryer regulator portion. I had to buy that separately. I picked mine up at Harbor Freight for less than $10. You have to have this. It'd be difficult to use this machine without it. Not to say that you can't, but it would be difficult to do that. So the big question, I'm sure that I'm going to get from people that's watching this video, and I'll just go ahead and get it out of the way. Would I buy this machine again? The answer is 100% absolutely. For the budget conscious person who, when I bought this machine, my whole goal was if I could do this one job with this machine and then it never worked again, I would be happy. But this machine has shown time and time again that it just continues to cut and cut and cuts well, cuts great. One thing this machine does not like is water in the air system. Make sure you make a good regulator, a dryer, or whatever it is that you're going to put on the back of this thing. Try to make sure that your air tank is drained. That way you don't have any water going through this machine. The arc does not like to cut, obviously having water spraying out of it. So that's a big thing. And I mean just the little bit of water that you might get through the system could be enough to affect it. So keep that in mind when you're cutting. And I would say that would probably apply to most plasma cutters. If you're trying to troubleshoot, I've got this plasma, doesn't want to cut, make sure it doesn't have water in the system. That's a big thing. So yes, I would absolutely purchase this machine again. It's been great. And again, this is not a plug for JEGS or any apparent company of JEGS. I'm not sponsored by them. This is just me and you talking. The actual specs of this machine, I'll post a little picture up here showing those kinds of things, because I hate to quote these things and not get them 100% right. It does have a small little diagram on the back of the machine. It's a very versatile machine for the price, comparable to something like maybe like an Eastwood or possibly maybe even a Harbor Freight unit. But yeah, I would buy this machine again. It's wonderful, it's great, and it's, for me, it's already paid for itself. I was able to do this whole entire chassis, and had I not bought this machine, I'd probably still be cutting plates, because it just speeds up and makes cutting way more accurate. And that's the other thing, the accuracy of this machine is really, really nice. Cuts very fine. Of course, it takes some practice, you know, you gotta have a steady hand when you're cutting, that sort of thing. But yeah, that's it. I would totally buy this again. So if you have questions or comments, please feel free to ask or comment below, and I'll do the best I can to answer them. If you would like to see this machine more in action, please go back and check out some of my earlier videos of the frame when I first got this machine. It's probably about halfway back in the videos, where I go over some of the processes of using it, stuff like that. But yeah, please ask any questions. And again, I would absolutely buy this machine again. So I hope that helps you in your decision making. Please like, share, subscribe, do all the things you do, and I'm going to continue to do the things I do here on the channel. So stay tuned for more content, and take care, and we'll see you later.